What's going on, everyone? It's Bluff here, and we're driving through the States in the Bluff-mobile, and the best thing that we can do is play our favorite casino-style games on SpinQuest. They have over 1,000 games, including live dealer, blackjack, and craps, with tons of slots and unlimited options. You can get a $30 coin pack for just $10 for new users. Sign up today. Go to spinquest.com right now.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.
You work hard to stay healthy and want the freedom to make the best decisions for yourself and your family. So why does healthcare still feel expensive and frustrating? Crowd Health is a different approach, built for entrepreneurs, families, and independent-minded people who want a simpler way to pay for healthcare. More than 28,000 members have already joined, and over 40,000 medical bills have already been funded. No restrictive networks, no corporate middlemen, just real people helping each other. Learn more at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com. You work hard to stay healthy and want the freedom to make the best decisions for yourself and your family. So why does healthcare still feel expensive and frustrating? Crowd Health is a different approach, built for entrepreneurs, families, and independent-minded people who want a simpler way to pay for healthcare. More than 28,000 members have already joined, and over 40,000 medical bills have already been funded. No restrictive networks, no corporate middlemen, just real people helping each other. Learn more at joincrowdhealth.com. That's joincrowdhealth.com.
Hi, I'm Anya Lichtarowicz, and this is Somewhere on Earth, your weekly look at technology and its impact on our everyday lives. I'm in Rio de Janeiro at Web Summit. It is Tuesday, the 9th of June, 2026. Welcome to the Global Tech Podcast. Coming up today. In a world where AI is making products easier to build and technology easier to copy, what really sets businesses apart? For one fintech leader, the answer is trust. We speak to Denise Johansson, co-founder and CEO of Enfuce, about why trust is becoming one of the most valuable assets in financial services, and how a Nordic startup grew into a global payments company serving brands including Porsche, Octopus Energy, and Circle K. And later, environmental restoration is becoming a major business opportunity, attracting investment from governments, corporations, and climate funds around the world. But how do you restore ecosystems at the scale the planet needs? We head to Brazil to meet the team of Ceres Seeding, which is using drones, mapping technology, and native seeds to help bring damaged landscapes back to life. That's Somewhere on Earth, where tech meets humanity. In today's tech landscape, innovation is no longer enough. As AI makes technology more accessible and products easier to build, companies are facing a new challenge: how to earn trust in a world where almost anyone can replicate what you do. My guest today believes trust has become one of the most valuable assets a business can build. Denise Johansson is the co-founder and CEO of Enfuce, a Finnish fintech that has grown from a Nordic startup to a profitable international payments company serving brands including Porsche, Octopus Energy, and Circle K. For Denise, trust isn't simply a corporate value, it's a growth strategy, a competitive advantage, and perhaps the defining business challenge of the AI era. Denise, welcome to Somewhere on Earth.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Now, for years, fintech has been driven by speed, by scale, by innovation. Why do you believe trust has become one of the most important growth assets in business today?
Exactly. For the last decade, I would say that fintech, we competed on who could build the fastest, automate the most, or launch the quickest, or move the most friction. But technology is becoming increasingly accessible. AI is accelerating the trend even further. So today customers, partners, regulators, investors, or even your employees, they are no longer asking just what a company can do. They're asking whether they trust that the company can do it responsibly. So when technology becomes easier to replicate, trust becomes much harder to replicate. And that's what I'm claiming, that it's the economy of trust nowadays.
So when you look back at Enfuce's growth from startup to international payments company, was there a particular moment when you realised trust wasn't just a value but a commercial advantage?
No, it wasn't one single point in time. I think I realized it when I played conversations with customers and partners in my head, and realizing that most conversations end up the same way. And that's when I'm asking, so why did you in the end choose Enfuce as your partner? And they all answered, we trust you. We trust what you say that you will deliver for us. You have a very transparent culture, and transparency creates trust. So that's why we choose Enfuce.
So you kind of discovered it along the way. I mean, you started with it, but then you felt that its presence was really needed.
Yeah, I think we founded a company not knowing that we will build trust in how we operate. We founded a company with how I would say many Nordic companies operates, and that's with transparency. That's admitting that within our industry, it won't always be flawless. Things will happen, and maybe transactions won't go through, but in the moment when things are not going perfectly, that's when transparency can come in, because if you take responsibility, if you are transparent to your customers, this is what happened, this is how we are fixing it, this is how we are taking accountability for what's happened, and this is how we make sure the same issue won't happen in the future. And that creates trust. So we came in with transparency in the core and within our core values, and that then turned out to be a real trust builder.
So you've worked with major global brands, you still do. What are they looking for beyond technology when they choose a fintech partner?
I think they are looking for someone they can trust, believe it or not. No, but I think they are not, or like it's easy to kind of tick off the boxes of compliance, of security, of showing how your technology will support their business case. But if you just look at that, then you can maybe compare on pricing. But are you really going to choose your long-term partner based on price? No, you do want something more. So they are putting their brands in the hand of the company they choose to work with, meaning that brand need to stay there for the long term. We need to be able to live and uphold their reputation towards their customers. So I think they choose a long-term partner that will operate with transparency and integrity.
Now, many founders see governance, regulation, compliance as barriers to growth, but you've built a very profitable business while embracing those areas. What do you think they're getting wrong?
I think it's how you look at it. Think about it as you can look at life with the glass half full or half empty. And for me, it's the same with compliance. You can embrace it or you can try to fight it. But if you're going to try to fight it and always find the easiest way around, it will be like it will drain you. But if you embrace it, if you look at it that this actually pull other companies away from entering the industry, you have an advantage for being able to uphold good compliance culture. So embrace it and create it a success, and the why customers choose you instead.
Happy birthday, America! It's time to celebrate and play your favorite Las Vegas casino games by American-owned SpinQuest.com. What's better than fireworks and American pie? Hitting a blackjack in the palm of your hand, and you won't lose your fingers. Over 1,000 games, including slots and live dealers. And $30 point packs are on sale for 10. SpinQuest.com. By American players, for American players.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit SpinQuest.com for more details.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 26th through July 6th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
So AI, which is everywhere, obviously still at Web Summit, it's making products easier to build, easier to replicate. How does that change the role of trust in financial services and technology more broadly?
I think it's giving trust even more importance for making the choice, for example, with partners. So if everyone can replicate a product, if everyone can replicate a service, then that won't give you an advantage for very long. But if you look at AI and you again come back to transparency and you are transparent with your customers how you are operating with AI, but also who will be accountable if AI makes the wrong decision. If you actually implemented it in the wrong way and your service isn't perfect, you can't blame AI. You can't blame anyone else either. So that's the moment when you can show that you take accountability and that will create trust.
Denise Johansson, co-founder, CEO of Enfuce, thank you for joining us on Somewhere on Earth, and you're staying behind for the Pod Extra. A huge thank you to everyone who has left us a 5-star review on their podcasting provider. Please keep doing so. Our numbers are growing. We've gained a few paid subscribers too. Thank you for signing up and paying. It really keeps the show running. For just $10 a month, you can subscribe for an ad-free extended version of the show. Just search pod.fan, Somewhere on Earth, podcast, and subscribe. Now, every year, millions of hectares of land around the world are damaged by deforestation, wildfires, mining, agriculture, and climate change. Restoring those ecosystems is one of the biggest environmental challenges of our time. But traditional reforestation is often slow, expensive, and difficult to scale. Now a Brazilian startup believes technology could help change that using drones, aerial mapping, and specially designed seed dispersal systems. Ceres Seeding is working to restore degraded landscapes across Brazil, planting native species in areas that are often difficult for people and machinery to reach. The company says the future of reforestation could be autonomous, data-driven, and significantly faster than traditional methods. Now, joining me here at the podcast booth at Web Summit Rio is Fernando De Luca, co-founder of Ceres Seeding. Welcome to Somewhere on Earth.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone.
So when people hear the word reforestation, they often picture volunteers planting trees one by one on a nice sunny afternoon. But, why is that approach no longer enough to meet the scale of the environmental challenge we face?
That's a really nice question. So actually people are not wrong on thinking that, because for years now that was really most of environmental restoration market. So it was really a NGO or governmental driven market. The projects were really driven by voluntary efforts indeed. But now things are not slowly, they're really changing, I think, kind of fast. So since 2020, 2021, the market really has been around, and now we do have really ambitious goals from governments and from the private sector as well to meet restored hectares and biodiversity protection as well. So the goals really changed the last 5 years, and that's why the traditional methodologies can no longer handle the speed that the goals now requires.
And how serious is the reforestation challenge in Brazil?
So here in Brazil, we do have a lot of areas that are destined to environmental restoration projects because of different reasons. We have carbon-driven projects, biodiversity-driven projects, and environmental law-driven projects. And most of those areas are in remote regions, hard-to-access areas, where you can really implement projects with heavy machinery or with the help of some traditional tools as well. And given that, we really thought how we could use technologies that we've learned in university and in other programs, how we could use technologies that were really validated in other markets, in other sectors as well, to optimize ecological restoration projects. So that was the vision, was how can we make it more accessible, and how can we make it, how can we enable big projects in different types of scenarios and different types of areas. So that's how we started to introducing drones, LiDAR sensors and other types of technologies to this market to really try to meet up with the goals that the government and private sector has established.
So tell me a little bit about Ceres Seeding and how exactly do those drones help restore the ecosystem?
Perfect. So at the beginning, we started focusing on a seeding dispersal system. So the idea was to get native seeds and be able to sow them in hard-to-access areas with drones. We live in a mountains area, so it's really hard and expensive to implement ecological restoration projects over there. And we started focusing on seeding, and as time went, we were able to get a few partners, a few clients, some resources, and we saw the possibility of implementing not only drone technology, but also other satellite technologies as well in all steps of ecological restoration projects. So today, we have from small drones that carries RGB cameras, multispectral, LiDAR sensors, to do the initial mapping and then the monitoring of ongoing projects, up until big drones, agricultural drones that are able to do the spraying of different products and be able to sow the seeds as well. So today we kind of use this integrated technology in this end-to-end chain in the project.
So talk me through what happens from the moment you identify a degraded area, or someone comes to you and says, we've got this area that really needs some work on, to the moment the seeds are actually planted or dropped.
Perfect. So it's a really nice question as well, because sometimes people doesn't really understand all the steps that ecological restoration projects takes. So we do have a lot of processes in between those two stages, in identifying an area and then to actually implement the project, and then we have the maintenance and then the monitoring. But from the moment we identify a degraded area that needs a project, we do an initial diagnostic where we do not only aerial imaging of the whole area to identify different vegetation indexes and the biomass of native vegetation and invasive vegetation we have there. We also do on-ground monitoring where we go identifying the species we already have there, identifying the type of invasive species we have there as well.
That's a huge problem.
It's one of the hugest problems we have here in the Atlantic forest here in Brazil. So the first step is really this diagnostic where we're going to not only see the whole scenario that we are really going to face, but also it's the moment where we do the initial protocols of the preparation the area needs to have, how we're going to implement, if we're going to drop the seeds or if we're going to do seedlings, and how we're going to maintain and monitor the project. So this is a really important area because this is where we're going to estimate costs, is where we're going to estimate the time the project will need to happen. So we have a lot of planning, and then before actually dropping the seeds, we do have a whole preparation stage before as well, where we need to prepare the soil, control invasive species, control predator ants as well. So it's a whole project before the project.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to remind listeners, invasive species are ones that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
They may well have been brought in by humans from other regions, other countries even.
Yeah.
That, is particularly during Victorian times, the British Empire.
Exactly.
So we have many species that may look beautiful but really shouldn't be there. But how do you how do you use technology to help you rid yourselves of those species that can't be there?
So first we identify what are the species that should be there and what are the species that shouldn't be there. And the aerial imaging do helps a lot this process, especially in really big areas where it's really hard to do the diagnostic. Sometimes people think that if you have a 100 hectares area, it's the same scenario in all the hectares, and that's usually not the case. So it's really important to do a diagnostic for the whole area. And then first of all, the technology helps us to identify the invasive species, and then it helps us to really control it with different tools. So with drones, we do have different products where we spray them with drones to control the invasive weeds before coming with the native seeds. We do have manual control where you go there and you need to actually cut the grass off the ground. So it's not an easy job. Maybe the hardest job in the whole project is this, but it's really, really important. In all of our tests, we do see a significant difference between areas where we do the control of the invasive species and where we don't do. The competitiveness between the invasive and the native, it's really unfair. Most of the invasive species we have here in Brazil came from Africa, so it's a weed that has some really, really strong roots, and then it enables the native species to establish. So it's a really important part, and today technology helps us to identify and to control it.
Exploration, it has a lot to answer for, doesn't it? So data plays such an important role in all of this, and it's really there to make it more successful, isn't it?
Yeah, so one thing that is really interesting about ecological restoration projects is that a lot of the times you're just going to see the result of the stage that you implemented weeks or months afterwards, because it follows the cycle of nature, so a few things you can accelerate it. So to really have a robust data platform where to support decisions, it's really, really important to reduce costs and reduce unexpected problems and issues, So a lot of times when you really know, you have a really nice control of what you're doing, where you're doing all the time, so you really know what products were used, what species were used in each hectare. It's really easier to understand what's going to be the problems we could face, what will be probably processes we will need to do in the area. And to implement a stage and then just see the result after 4 months, it's really dangerous because you could lose a whole project with that. So this data-driven support for solution, it's something really new in this market. So now we have more startups focusing on the management of data as well as the development of protocols based on different types of data as well. It's something really new, but it's something that already helps us a lot. In our projects, it already helped us to reduce up to 30% of costs related to unexpected issues.
So a reduction in costs, and I'm assuming a reduction in time as well.
In time and risks as well, because we do work in mountains areas, hard to access regions. So if you spend few time in the field, few risks as well. So important for our employees as well.
So do you see a future where autonomous technologies become a standard part of environmental recovery around the world?
I do think so. We know that some traditional methodologies, especially in ecological restoration sector, aren't going to be autonomous. Some processes need to follow the time of nature. Some processes need to have the engagement of communities as well. So we know for sure that it's not going to be an end-to-end 100% autonomous, but our objective here is to identify what processes could be autonomous, what processes could have benefits on spending less time and less money in the field as well. So our goal is really to integrate technology with traditional methodologies to really optimize, but not have a full autonomous project. In the end, we do have a lot of community engagement, and we do have to follow the cycle of nature. There's nothing we can do about it.
And you've got some of the kit on your stand, and you've even got a specialist little seed dispersal roller attachment, I guess one would call it, to the drone. I will post a picture online, dear listeners, so it will be there. But explain how you developed that.
Yeah, so this is our first patented technology. So we started with this. Today we do have drones, agricultural drones that works with spreading crop seeds, basically, so one type of seed. And here in our projects, we use up to 60, 70 different species per project. So we do work with seeds in different formats, different sizes, and with the solutions we had at the moment, it wasn't possible to work with seeds in different sizes and different formats all at once. And to work with the drone, if you don't work all at once, it doesn't really make sense, because then you're going to spend the same amount of time.
You're going to have to do more drone flights, aren't you? But it's like a little conveyor belt, and the seeds are coming in there, and I guess the different sizes all fit in there, and then they little ridges that mean that it all pushes off the edge. It's quite very simple, but very clever.
It's very simple, and the version that you saw, it's like version number 15, 16. So we went through really more complex. At the beginning, it was more complex, the device actually, and then we started to figure it out that we're going to work with a big amount of seeds and really various types of seeds, so we should make it simple. So we were making simpler, and now that's the final patented version. We do have other hardware that we are developing, and the differential is that they are all focused on Brazilian biodiversity specifically. Mm-hmm. So we work with seeds from different regions, different states, different biomes here in Brazil to get to this specifically device. Maybe other biomes from other countries, you need different adaptation, but we do focus a lot on biodiversity-driven tech. So all our hardware and our softwares are really based on Brazilian species and Brazilian biomes and Brazilian conditions.
The tech should work elsewhere. People will just have to come up with their own special seed mixes, won't they?
Here in Brazil, we do have the biggest biodiversity, so I think it could work in other tropical countries as well.
Fernando from Ceres Seeding, thank you so much for joining us here on Somewhere on Earth. And thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you subscribe for more stories and ideas from leaders shaping the future of business, technology and society. The sound engineer is Leandro Fente. I'm the editor. Until next week, goodbye.
Hanging out at the pool is great. Relaxing and playing Vegas-style games on my phone at the same time. Drink in one hand and a blackjack in the other. It's all at SpinQuest. Over 1,000 games, including your favorite slots and table games. Be cool with this summer special. New players get $30 coin packs for 10 at spinquest.com.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.